Welcome. On today's episode, we're going to talk about product positioning. So, if your product isn't winning, it's probably not the product. Having the best product is not enough if the buyer does not understand why it matters to them. So, this is where positioning comes into play because you might have a good product, but if customers do not understand what it does, how it helps them, what kind of benefits they get out of it, remember, focus on benefits versus futures, they're not going to buy. So most companies lose deals, not because of the futures, but because of unclear positioning. If your product sounds like every other option, like a commodity, buyers will default to the cheapest and most familiar. So that's the thing, you never want to be seen as a commodity. So something that means that people could just easily get or buy from anywhere else. You really have to position yourself to be very unique or premium or just different from the market. In this video, you'll learn how to position your product so the right people understand the value and choose you instead of the others. How to position B2B products to win in a crowded market. So I spent 6 years in B2B empowerment and marketing, helping SaaS and training industries grow faster with better messaging and positioning. I've worked with sales, product, and marketing teams to create clear positioning that drives adoption and closes deals. So this is the exact framework I've used to launch features, created sales enablement tools, and support enterprise sales teams. I'm hoping that this could help you as well. So what is positioning? So let's get a clear definition on what this is. Positioning is how your product is perceived by your ideal customer compared to other options. It is not just what you say about your product, but what your buyer remembers and believes. So we really want to make a strong impression on who our target audience is. So when we're doing the messaging and we're showing them what our product is, they need to fully understand how your product is different. Good positioning answers who is it for, so you're clearly calling out to that specific audience what problems it solves, so you already know what their pain point is. You want to reiterate their pain point to them so you know that you're talking to them and why it's the best option. So you want to call them out on who that audience is. You want to show them that you're solving this particular problem and why your solution is the best one. So, for example, if you're selling training software, you might be the fastest way to onboard new hires or the most scalable system for multi-location teams. That decision affects every message you send out. So you really want to have a clear indicator on fastest way to onboard new hires or most scalable system at multi-location teams. So this one is probably going to be a more mid-sized, larger company, and this one's going to be a much more maybe smaller size company. But you want to fully express how you're solving their problems. Why positioning matters. So without clear positioning, your product blends in and buyers cannot tell why they should choose you. Once again, I'm going to be saying commodity a lot because I really want you to really position yourself to not be seen that way. Because as I mentioned before, if they see you as a commodity, they're just going to go for the cheapest option. You don't want to do that. You want to have a grand slam offer that clearly shows you all the things you're going to give them that will help solve their problem and then some. Teams waste time and money promoting features that no one cares about and writing copy that falls flat. One of the biggest mistakes I see companies do is when they write a copy or they send out an email, they keep focusing on the features versus the benefits. Don't focus on the features. Basically, the desired outcome of what they're going to get from using your product. So strong positioning gives your company a clear foundation for messaging, sales, and product direction. So it helps the internal team on how to position their product as well. What goes into positioning? So target customer, who is this built for? Problem, what challenge are they trying to solve? Category, what type of solution are you and what are you being compared to? Differentiator, what makes your product meaningfully better than the competitors? And value, what outcome do they get from using your product? So whenever you're sending out a cold email or a sales proposal or any type of proposal or a deck or a sales deck, you want to clearly call all this out. So you're clearly talking to them. You're clearly showing them the problem you're solving. You're clearly showing the difference between you and the competitors because they probably already done the research on other solutions out there. So what makes you better than them? You want to clearly position yourself out of that. And then what values are you bringing them? So start with your best customers. Talk to your best customers and ask why they buy, what were they struggling with, and what results they got. So this is called a win interview. So you want to do this as soon as they win something from using your product. So if you're working with the customers and you know that they got a higher revenue or you know that they got the desired result, that's the perfect time to ask them if you could get them on an interview, just to ask them a few questions. So listen for repeated phrases and themes. That language is pure gold. So when you're interviewing 5, 10, 15 customers, really note down the themes or keywords that they are using. And if possible, ask them if you could record the call for reference. It's just easier that way, so you could always go back to it and to get more information. But if not, just really hone in on key stuff that pops out when you're interviewing the customers. Use those insights to guide your strategy so it reflects what your buyer already believes. So now that you got the information, start using it internally and externally, and really have that consistent messaging throughout the whole company. Make the difference clear. So your differentiator should be something your customer truly values. It could be faster onboarding, easier setup, stronger support, or a better learning experience. So remember, once you gather that data, always have this as the core focus when you reach out to new prospects. Avoid buzzwords and focus on specific benefits that separate you from your competitors. So don't use vague words or jargon words. Be very specific and clear. So be clear, not clever, okay? On expressing the benefits on how it will help your customers. So for example, one team I work with focus on shorter learning curves. That simple shift helped them close faster with time-strapped buyers, meaning that people who wanted faster onboarding or who just wanted faster training to train up their employees, the focus is a shorter learning curve, because if it's a shorter learning curve, they learn faster. And that differentiator helps the customers know what they're getting out of the product. The difference between positioning and messaging, and I know this could get a bit confusing. So positioning is the strategy that defines how your product should be perceived by the market. Messaging is how you communicate that strategy across different channels. So great messaging flows from clear positioning and adapts to context like email, ads, and demos. So I hope that made it clear. So where to start today? So choose one of your best fit customers and write down their top 3 pain points. Identify what categories they see you in and how they compare you to other tools. So when you're talking to your customers, ask them about past competitors or past solutions they have used and why they choose you instead. Or if they're leaving to another customer or leaving to another solution, ask them why are they leaving you versus going to them. These are absolutely gold information you want to get out of people that you are engaging with. Use that info to write a draft positioning statement and test it out on your next sale call or landing page. So I got to iterate of just testing fast, experimenting fast, getting that feedback and making changes as quickly as possible. So what to do next? If this helped you finally understand how to position your product, hit the like button so I know this content is useful. Subscribe if you want more real world examples from B2B marketing, and drop a comment with your current positioning statement or the part you are struggling with the most. I'd love to help you out. And check out the next video. It's going to help you take what you learn here and apply it across your messaging and go-to-market strategy so everything clicks. So once again, my name is Tony. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.